Time for the sequel, which are never really as good as the first ones. That awkward moment when you go to grab someone sexy and say hey, but your hand hits the mirror. That awkward moment when you're trying to look at ads but a bunch of YouTube videos keep coming up. That awkward moment when a fat kid says, "That's how I roll." That awkward moment when you go through the metal detectors at the airport and your abs of steel set them off. That awkward moment when you're confidently walking around school naked and then you realize you're not dreaming. That awkward moment in grade school when you're the only kid with rose art crayons because your mom was too cheap to buy you crayola. That awkward moment when you realize your secrets are being stolen through your dream within a dream within a dream. That awkward moment when someone's awkward moment really isn't that awkward. That awkward moment when your nanny turns out to be your mom's ex-husband disguised as a 60-year-old British caretaker. That awkward moment when you find out that Cady Herring is having a party that you weren't invited to when you practically invented her. That awkward moment when you're singing a song and the artist gets the words wrong. That awkward moment when the guy who discovered milk realizes he has to explain how he found it. That awkward moment when Chris Brown sees a hot chick and says, "I'd hit that." That awkward moment when you realize you're chewing on a borrowed pencil. That awkward moment when you're left alone with your friend's parents. That awkward moment when someone you hate says something funny and you try not to laugh. That awkward moment when Pinocchio and Voldemort meet. That awkward moment when a couple of guys who are up to no good start to make trouble in your neighborhood, so then you get in one little fight and your mom gets scared and says you were moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel-Air. That was the most retarded one. That awkward moment when you're singing happy birthday to someone but you don't know their name, so you kind of just mumble that part. That awkward moment when someone yells at you for clicking your pen but you have to click it one more time to be able to use it. That awkward moment when you've already said what 3 times and you still don't know what the person's saying, so you just agree. That awkward moment when you go to visit a past teacher and they don't remember you. That awkward moment where you have sex, get pregnant, and die. That awkward moment when you look at your man, then at the Old Spice guy, then back at your man, then back at him, and sadly your man isn't him. That awkward moment when you lose a game of musical chairs to Rebecca Black. That awkward moment when spelling is so important that it changes everything. That awkward moment when you realize Black History Month is the shortest month of the year. That awkward moment when a sentence doesn't end the way you thought it pineapple. That awkward moment when you don't forward that chain email and you die. That awkward moment when you realize someone was actually home that whole time you were singing at the top of your lungs. That awkward moment when you find out that Janice Ian's wig is made out of your mom's chest hair. That awkward moment when you're searching your closet for Narnia but all you find is Monsters Inc. That awkward moment when you can't do something fun like go to Taco Bell because you're on an all-carb diet. That awkward moment when you go to pet a dog at the mall but then you realize it's just a child on a leash. That awkward moment when you still quote Mean Girls way too much. That awkward moment when you're not really sure how to end the video.